Hello and welcome to another interesting moment here on the Profit Point Show, where we talk about businesses, talk about how to make profits, talk about how to grow your businesses, talk about what you should do to enhance your services in the economy of Nigeria. My name is Charity James, and today we want to look at something that pertains to finances. We want to look at how you can manage your finances. That is on the first segment, but the second segment will be how to use your skill, how to use your hands, and how to use your talent to build what you have with you. And we'll go for this first break. After the break, we'll be having our business review segment. Join Welcome to the business review segment of the Profit Point Show here, and today we want to talk about financial literacy and personal finance management. Our guest is joining us via Zoom from Gombe State, and we'll be talking about how to enhance our finance life management and how to make all those chain of finances intact and manage them well. His name is KINGSLEY EZEH. He's a sales coach, and he is joining us via Zoom from Gombe State. Good morning, KINGSLEY.
Good morning, ma. Good morning.
All right, you're welcome to Ogun State. This is the Abeokuta, the capital city of Ogun State, and this is the base of Ogun State Television. You're welcome to the program.
It's a pleasure, ma. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Now, when we are talking about financial literacy, what does it mean? For a layman, we know that when you talk about finances, we deal with money and how to spend your money. So, for a layman, what does financial literacy mean? Must you have financial literacy when spending your money?
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity to be here with everyone. It's such an honor. And then, considering the question on what financial literacy is, one of the things I must say is that financial literacy, without speaking of the grammar that comes with it, it is everything you need to do to be in a good relationship with money. So everything that you have to do to be in a good relationship with money, because yes, you have to be in a good relationship with money for it to work for you. So financial literacy is defined as the ability to understand and apply. So understanding is one, application is two. So it's the ability for someone to understand and apply financial principles or financial concepts. So in another word, it is everything that you have to do to be in a good relationship with money.
Okay, since finances as principle or management, let's talk about those principles that you have mentioned in your definition. What are the principles that someone must follow to have good financial management?
Entirely, the financial literacy has principles. And then when we deal with that, financial literacy has to do with you earning, you investing or saving, you protecting the money, spending is a must, and then borrowing. So when it comes to these principles, it is a must for you to actually find something you're doing to be earning the money. It's a must. Secondly, you have to also come to terms that you have to save or you invest. So by the time you save and invest, you are following the principles. And it's not just there. You also have to protect the money, and you as well have to spend. Now, not spend extravagantly. You just have to know what you must do to get the money that you want, to spend it accurately. Okay. So when you are spending such money, you must be aware that this is the reason why you are spending it, and not just allow anything come up. And then when you are spending, you also have to come to terms of knowing that there's something called borrowing. You don't borrow anyhow. That's the last part of financial
management.
That's the last part of financial principles, and when it has to do with literacy. So you must have to do all these things together and allow yourself to learn how to earn. Apart from earning, you learn how to also invest. It is investment and savings, they work hand in hand. And then you also have to learn how to protect the money. You don't just give it anyhow because you know it is coming every time, and then you spend it on necessary things that will in turn give you more chances of earning more. And then at the end of it, you actually know how to borrow money, because every person that needed money once in a time borrowed from someone to get to the point where they are, and they are now financially dependent to the point that they now make the money by themselves. But at one point or the other, they borrowed to do one thing or the other. So spending and borrowing is also part of it.
Okay, thank you for that analysis, spending, borrowing, loan, and all that. And we want to know what the role that financial literacy play when we talk about personal management now, personal finance management. What is the role that the education that you are trying to put up now? What does it do when you are dealing with your financial management?
All right, talking about financial management, financial management has to come about you knowing everything you need to do for your money to work for you. And then it's just like someone who is managing a company. He has to know when to employ, when to discharge, and when to keep those who are actually working, and when to increase the salary of those who are working. So when it comes to you having financial literacy, depending on your personal finances, it is a must. It contributes a lot, because it's just like you having a smartphone and you do not know how to operate it. A lot of people have money, but they do not know how to manage it. So I think or believe totally that financial literacy is one of the highest education anybody seeking to gather more money or is already gathering more money to acquire, so that it can help you manage it. Know when to do something, know when not to do, because there is something that comes with money. A lot of people who know that, okay, they are into business, like some of us who are into business, we make money on a daily basis. And so there's this mindset of tomorrow money is coming, next tomorrow money is coming, and you see us wanting to spend the one we have today. That is when you don't have financial literacy. But when you have financial literacy, you'll be able to manage your finances. You know that even as more are coming tomorrow, more are coming next tomorrow, you must come to a point where you totally understand that it's not all that you see that you need to spend on. You need to choose quality over quantity.
Okay, talking about being a businessman and how to manage your finances and what you should do with your money. Financial management, does it just stop with the personal aspect of it? Can someone who has business, who is a business owner, can they manage themselves so that their finances should be intact and they should run what they are supposed to run with it?
Now, talking about the business aspect, anyone who has a business is actually growing money. And then, if you are conversant with Nigerian roads, there are federal roads, there are state roads, and all of that. And there are private cars and public cars. If you're going to Abuja from Lagos, or you're going to Lagos from Abuja, there's a particular route you have to follow to get to Lagos. So you have to follow that route, whether you're a private car or a public car. You have to tow that part till you get to your destination. So the same applies to whether you are into business or you are just getting your pay, managing your finances. Anything that you do that has to come with money or that has to make it, even as little as a child that is being given allowances, it is good they learn financial management and they learn financial literacy, because it is everything you need to do when money enters your hand. It is everything you need to do when you have it in abundance and you're thinking of what to do. Because it's not every time you put money into something that it brings out something big. So you need to be aware of the things you put money into. So even as a business person, if you do not consider financial literacy as important as it is, you don't consider it, your business will die, and it's very soon. Because you cannot account for how you were able to do the things you did, how you were able to buy the goods you bought, and how you were able to pay those you paid. So financial literacy will help you know when to do this, how much amount of money you need to invest in a particular thing. So yes, for those in business, for those in the private sector, whether you're in a business, whether you are doing something that you get paid as a service, financial literacy is a must. Go get it.
Okay, but before people will get it, let's tell them how important this financial literacy is. Why is it very, very important for everybody to have financial literacy?
Well, one of the necessities of life is water. You know, when you get thirsty, you only need water. Anything that comes at that moment, it doesn't satisfy. So financial literacy is like a necessity of someone, for someone who is actually looking forward to build a good financial life. If you're looking forward to build something worth emulating, something worth worthy, you have to learn financial education. You need to get financial literacy, because just like earlier I said that there's something that comes with people who see money every day. Like, unlike me, we get paid every day for the kind of business we do on the internet. And you know that, for the fact that you know that this certain amount is coming tomorrow, you will be tempted to spend the one you have today. And I stopped playing that rough play last year when I was expecting a particular money and used the one I had in my hands to do something. When the day came, it didn't come. There was a lot of glitch, there was a lot of things. I was devastated. That was when I started being intentional about, you must lock up some money. Not all money is for expenditure. Not all money must be spent at the time it came. Not all money must be saved. You just have to learn these things because it is important. So anyone hearing my voice and you are tending towards making money, unless you don't want to make money, but once you want to make money, financial literacy is important. It's just like someone who wants to go into university. You need the JAMB, right? So you need it to get there, and they will certify that, okay, this guy wrote JAMB. So you need financial literacy to be able to handle the money that you are making. Okay. So it's very important.
Okay, now let's talk about the education itself. What is the scope of this financial literacy? If you want to teach one on how to manage their finances and manage it well, what should be the focus? What is the strategy? What are the scopes that you put out for people who want to be educated and be well grounded on their finances?
Well, anybody that wants to teach about financial education, there are so many things you put out, talking about budgeting, talking about expenditure, talking about savings. These are the things you must be ready to take note of. Anybody who wants to teach finances must be able to teach people how to save money. There's a particular month inside this year. All I did with my students was telling them to save money. They were making enough money, they were flaunting it on the internet. I was just hammering on them to save money. Do not get carried away with the amount you're making right now. There are rainy days and it is coming. So savings, budgeting, expenditures are must. Is a must. You wake up every day, you buy something, you pay. It's not every money that comes into the pocket you remove. So you need to, as a matter of urgency, show people you want to teach the education of it, that there's something called budgeting. The things you want to do, you need to budget for it. You need to know how much is required for it. And then you put it out, and this money, whenever it comes, is going direct to this destination. We talk about savings, we talk about expenses, we talk about the loans and a lot of things. So these are the topics or the scopes one needs to look through when the person is teaching financial literacy, because this is all that happens with human. And by the time your student or anybody under you should go through all this scope, the person should be able to understand that, okay, it's not every money that comes to my hand that needs to be spent. Some of them are meant for investment. And that is how we know, because you have done the teaching using this very scope I have mentioned.
Okay. All right, now let's talk about the skills now, management skills. Since there's an education on how to spend this thing, do you need to have a skill before you can manage your finances?
Well, one of the greatest skills anybody can have is knowing the difference between needs and wants. If you have the skill of knowing the difference between needs and wants, managing your finances will be very easy for you. A lot of people, as a result of not having financial literacy, they do not actually know what they want, and they don't know what they need. So at every given opportunity they get to make money, you see them spending it on something that is not really necessary. At the end of the day, it will be done on them, oh, I shouldn't have done this. So if anybody is standing towards learning financial literacy, one of the greatest skills, there are many, but I should rest on this very fact that you must know the difference between needs and wants. At the time you know these things, when money comes, you know if it is a need, you know that there is no way you can't attend to it. Something that has to do with feeding, transportation, and the rest of that. But if it's just a desire, like I can desire to have a shoe of 80,000 naira, and then there may be a need of 50,000 naira. If I should have 80,000 naira for someone like me that have financial literacy, I know that I have to go for my pressing need right now than to go for the shoe that costs 80,000 naira. There are a lot of people who don't know how to manage their finance. They will rather go for the shoe because there is an emotional connection to that. They want to feel good in it and the rest of them. So anybody that wants to learn financial literacy must first of all have the skills of knowing the difference between needs and wants. This is the only skill I can remember right now, and there are more.
Okay, let's know if there is a correlation or difference between financial literacy and personal finance management. Are they the same thing, or they are different when you want to define these two concepts?
Okay, the only difference there is personal. One is a general something, and one is called personal. Now, but in the midst of all of them, you cannot have a good, great personal financial management without financial literacy. So it's just like passing from one to another. You must have a good financial literacy if you want to have personal financial management that is great. So they are different by word. Personal financial management and their financial literacy. So one has to do with you knowing what you do to guide your money, to take care of your money and make it work for you. One has to do with everything which is financial literacy, everything that you need to do to guide money, whether it's personal or whether it's in the bank, whether you're working in the bank, whether you're working in anywhere, whether you're a manager, whether you are the CEO gathering money for organization, initial literacy, financial literacy will teach you how to gather it anywhere, even whether it's personal. So there are no much difference between them. They are the same thing, but the difference is just the word personal.
Okay, this question, I'll be tilting it towards the small-scale enterprises. Do they need to go through a formal education? Because we know that there are a lot of them in the society, and we have a larger chunk of this trade and industry having small-scale enterprises everywhere. So do they need to be tutored on how to be financially stable? Because sometimes you see that when a business owner starts with a very high spirit, later on they'll fold up, and the basis for this fold up will be the mismanagement of fund. So tell us, how can small scale enterprises, how can they start their business having this education, and later on the business will grow and the economy of Nigeria also will grow?
Okay, when it comes to that, I have seen a lot of business start, and before you know it, it's no more. I have seen a lot of them. And then each time I was with some of my friends when we went for a meeting, we had a popular eatery in town. We went there, all of a sudden it's no longer working. And then we were like, what happened to this place? And my friends were like, management. The management is poor. So management is not an alien. They are humans. They are humans that refuse to learn management, because there is something about learning how to manage. You don't just show up where you are not qualified and you start managing because you want to manage. That is why you need to have probably a training, not necessarily working all through the school, the whole about 17 years that I spent in school, talking about primary, secondary, and university level. But in this our time and age, where we are now mostly concerned about personal branding, building, and a lot of things, if you are not opportune to go through the educational sector of it, there are hundreds and millions of books on finances that can change your life and change your thought pattern. There are millions of videos on YouTube that can change your thought pattern about how you manage your fund. So you have to learn before you keep what you are earning. If you don't learn the process of keeping what you earn, you will lose it.
Okay.
It can come and go. It's just like coming and noticing that this is not the right person to acquire me, and he leaves. So if you don't have that good relationship to keep money will always disappear, and you'll be wondering how. So I believe that education of money is not necessarily when you walk through the four corners of the university. Education of money is somewhat of personal. From the personal development, you pay for training, you pay for a lot of things, but you have to start the journey personal. You need to get books, you need to read, you need to go where they talk about money, you need to talk about a lot of things that has to do with money. You need to learn it. It's something you can learn. Nobody was born to learn how to manage. But once you learn, it is assured that you will learn it and you apply it and it will work, because the principles have been there, it doesn't change. So anytime you apply it, it works the way you apply it. So I believe education of it is very, very important, even to the small business owners, even to those who are coming up as personal branded people. They need it. Everybody tending towards making money needs financial literacy.
Okay, so as we leave, the last question will be that how do you assess yourself if you're doing well with this financial management or not? And if you are not doing well, what should be done? If you are doing well, what are the ways to improve yourself?
Okay, personally, I sit down to ask things that I spent money on. How profitable are they? Because one of the things I have learned while learning financial literacy is that you don't put money where it doesn't get money. It's either long term or short term. I did an investment that didn't work out, and never again will I put my money in there. These are the checks you put on yourself. There are some things you do out of emotion, not because of this, this thing is going to work. You just felt like, let's try it. And you emotionally, you plug your money there, and it's gone. So you need to always ask yourself the things you spend your money on. That's how you assess yourself, check yourself, and consistently know that, okay, these are the things I did, this is how I did it. And you check. There's something called financial report. They do it at the end of the every year. Some people do it at the end of the month. When I was working offline, we do it at the end of the day. Every day we close from the shop, we give a financial report of everything that happened, who took money out, who took money to the bank, who brought money, and the total we have. So it is also good you apply it to your life. Every month I print my bank statement just to check. And they will send it as a PDF document. I will check it to know if it corresponds. So it's about a personal thing, and you need to be intentional about it.
All right, thank you. Talking about intentionality, that will be a safe place for us to leave the program this moment for the first segment. And KINGSLEY has been talking to us about financial literacy and personal finance management. And he talked about a whole lot of things, the principle, the scope, and how to manage even to those services and small-scale business owners. Thank you so much, KINGSLEY, for coming on the program.
Thank you very much, Ma. Thank you.
And this will be a safe place for us to close the first segment of the Profit Point Show, which is the business review segment, where we'll come again. After this break, it will be time for us to go into the sectorial segment and talk about something very interesting. See you after the break.
You people sell imported materials here. As beautiful as the shop is.
See, buying foreign goods does not help our economy. Neither does it boost local production. And the good thing is Nigerian-made products are high quality. Really? And to make Nigeria great again. That is why I only sell made in Nigeria products. Because change begins with me.
Convinced.
Change begins with me too. Change begins with me.
Abeokuta. It's okay. You're welcome to the sectorial segment of the Profit Point Show, and this moment we want to talk about fashion designing, and we want to narrow our topic to fashion designing in the 21st century. What are the trends? What are the unique things? What are the innovations? And that is how we'll be talking. That is the focus for us this moment on the program, and we have a fashion designer on our show. He's joining us again via Zoom, and we'll be talking about fashion design, the trend and innovation. Miracle Okeke, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having me on your show.
Right now, we want to talk about fashion. We know that you have been in the business for a while now, and we know that the fashion is not the thing that we saw from our forefathers' days. It is different the way they practice fashion designing nowadays. So tell us the role of design in fashion. What is design doing in fashion?
Okay, the name already tells us what the design is doing in the fashion. The recent time in Nigeria, people prefer to call it fashion design. Like you hear people say they are fashion designers, they are not tailors. Because we have gotten to understand that without the design in fashion, there is no fashion. And design is like an art that makes fashion be what it is. It is what differentiates it from just mere making of clothes. So the design there is what it talks about, the concepts of different things that can be done in the line of fashion. That is the rule of that word, design.
Okay, so it is the different creativity you put into your fashion, the fabric itself. All right, then what is the aim of fashion designers? If you call yourself a fashion, before now you were used to call tailors. You were called tailors. Now you are sticking to fashion. In fact, if you call some people tailors, they will tell you, I'm not a tailor, I'm a fashion designer. So tell us why you think people are calling themselves fashion designers now, and what is the aim of this fashion designing thing?
Okay, fashion designers, most people prefer to refer to themselves as fashion designers and not tailors, because the fashion designers are seen as they are seen as advanced tailors. They are the ones that want to think up something creative in the line of fashion. But a tailor might just tell you, okay, give me your fabric, I'm just going to couple the whole stuff, and you have your clothes. But a fashion designer is going to think up, what can I make out of this fabric? Just like what I'm putting on, is more or less like a mere fabric. You can just get it in the market, but you now think of, what can I do to this fabric to make it outstanding, to make whoever that wears it looks exceptional. So that's why most people prefer to call themselves fashion designers, because the word tailor seems to be demeaning to them. They want to be seen as the pros in the line of fashion. So that's just it. They are basically the same words, but the one is more advanced than the other.
So are you saying we have types of fashion designing?
I would say that we have different types of fashion designers. Yes. Basically, I would say there are these fashion designers that they don't basically do the sewing. All they focus on is think up what should be done on a fabric, what kind of design can be done on an outfit, and then they create it. But then there are these other ones that they can actually do the work, they do the thinking, they do the sewing. Now as they grow, they begin to give other people that privilege of doing the work for them, and they sit back to rack their brains on how to develop what they are doing and how to expand. So that is just what it is.
Okay, we know that you can't do your work these days, this 21st century fashion designing, without the technology and the internet helping out. So how has the technology shaped the fashion designing industry? What is the advantage? Does it have a disadvantage? What are the things that fashion designers must tap from the technological aspect of fashion designing?
Okay, narrowing it down to our country, I believe that my country, Nigeria, should actually encourage technology in fashion and designing, because it helps to promote, in the first place, it promotes the productivity ratio of the work that is being produced. And then it's just like you're trying to compare the manual sewing machine and the industrial sewing machine. You see the difference in their stitches. You see the speed of the work. You also come in the line of the irons. You see that there is we have the normal iron. Some people make use of, or still make use of, the charcoal iron, and some people make use of industrial irons. You can't compare the result of this, of the work that have been done by these appliances. And then also in fashion and design now, you can have apps that you can help you to create exceptional design, because we believe that in Nigeria we should be competing with those that are outside the country, fashion industries outside the country. You look at what they do, you find out that it's more or less like everything is mechanized. They have the machines that do the cutting, that do basically it's just the sewing that people have to do. The machines do the cutting, do the ironing, do the packaging and everything. So the workload is now reduced for those countries, and you find out that in a week a clothing company can be releasing millions of outfits. But here in the country, when we don't have enough of these appliances, you might just say that in a week someone that is a fashion designer just producing 5, 10, or those little amount of work.
But this technology is said to have made some fashion designers laybacks. I don't want to say lazy, because some people will say because of this technology they won't want to use their creativity anymore. So do you buy into that this innovations, this technology has made some fashion designers laybacks?
I don't think technology can actually push a serious fashion designer out of business. It shouldn't. Rather, it should even make someone that wants to expand his business very happy and see how he can utilize the technology to his own advantage. So it's actually giving us an advanced thought. For example, when you have an app on your laptop that helps you to sketch designs, to make designs, it increases your speed. It gives you the chances of trying a whole lot of options in getting a design. But when you do this from just your head or just a pen and a paper and you're sketching, during the course of the sketching, you are cancelling this, you are correcting this, it might not really be in order. But with the system, there are proportions that you can use. So if you want a particular design to be multiplied into 10 places in dimensions of 5 to 11 inches, it can do that. And every one of it that is necessary. Then when it comes to the machine aspect, fashion design is a very stressful business. So, but something like the industrial machines, it makes the work very fast. I said that earlier. It makes it very fast. So a fashion designer or even a tailor would be very happy when he gets an industrial machine, compared to when he's just tied to his manual machine and he's saying, I don't want technology to push me out of business. It will definitely push the person out of business, because the stitches are not the same, the speed are not the same. Yeah.
Okay, now let's move to the business aspect of fashion designing in this 21st century. How has it evolved, the business aspect of it? How can you set up a fashion designing workshop, store, or anything that is related to fashion designing in this 21st century, and you make your profit out of it?
You can set it up. Number one, knowing the job. Yes, you know, most people just want to make the quick money. They just want to get into this line of fashion. They are supposed to train for a period of 1 to 2 years on average grounds. They're supposed to train for that period of time. But you see that these people, once it is 2 to 3 months into their training, they run away, because they just feel, okay, I've already known how to cut, I've already known this, I've already known that. And then in their mind, they are telling themselves, I'll just employ people to do the job. Now, the risky thing is that when they now employ people to do the job, these people can come in and do the job haphazardly because the person is not well trained. He doesn't know, is this sewn to precision? Is this sewn to accurate measurement? And even if